The Republicans appeal disproportionately to older whites, and the mob thing is an attempt to alarm those voters about the prospect of non-whites and immigrants and terrorists and that sort of thing.
But I want to go back to business and economics.
Yep.
Sahil, the data is irrefutable. Yet to John's point, the Republicans have it in terms of branding. And what getting elected is selling. So what do Democrats need to do on the selling front? Part of the American dream, whether you like it or not, is that people believe or dream that they want to be rich. What do Democrats need to do to change the narrative here?
Well, it seems like they need to highlight the facts as much as possible as it comes to job creation.
Do you think they're doing that?
They're focusing on something a little bit different. They're talking about the tax law and its impact on the deficit and how that could lead to cuts in, safety net programs like Social Security and Medicare. But, the Bill Clinton presidency oversaw about as many jobs created as the entire presidencies of Reagan and both Bushes. So Democrats do have an argument to make here if they really want to. But, the economy, Stephanie, I think we can do a little bit of myth busting here, is mostly irrelevant to the outcomes of midterm elections. The Democrats of 2014 had that rude awakening. It was a good economic year, about 3 million jobs created. The Democrats still got decimated. 1994 as well, a decent economic year. Bill Clinton's party got decimated. The midterm elections come down less to economic performance, more to presidential approval and generic ballot, and that's where the Democrats seem to have the edge here.
Do you find it interesting that even though the economy is doing so well, it's booming and so forth, guys like Newt Gingrich are saying the midterms are about, what did he say, John? The caravan and Kavanaugh. He's not talking the economy.
Well, right. And one of the reasons for that, Stephanie, is that people have absorbed the fact that the economy has been growing for quite some time. President Trump talks about record streak of private sector job creation. Most of that record, obviously, was amassed under the presidency of Barack Obama. Trump inherited a good economy. Things have gotten accelerated, in part because of the stimulus, deficit finance stimulus from the tax cut and from spending increases. But people kind of get that we haven't had a revolution in the economy under President Trump, and they're focusing on other things, and those culture war issues are part of it.
Who do the president's lies about the economy work for? At the end of the day, I know if my wages go up. I know if I have more money in my pocket, if my actual taxes go down. I understand the president's lies or conspiracy theorists when he's preying on our fears, as it relates to things like immigration. And I hear these awful, ridiculous conspiracy theories that are not rooted in fact, but they work. They work because they make people scared. When he lies about the economy, who believes that?
Well, that's the challenge, Stephanie. President Trump wants to make the case, about the economy, and he can talk about record low unemployment among African Americans and Hispanics, which is certainly true, and he likes to do that. But the reason we're seeing him shift to issues like immigration and the mob is that he knows what really motivates the conservative base, and it's this feeling of cultural alienation. It's this primal force that he very deftly put his finger on in the 2016 election, that the country is becoming younger, it's becoming more culturally liberal. The conservatives have lost the culture war. It's becoming more demographically diverse. So he's painting a picture of a bunch of immigrants and criminals and angry mobs coming to overwhelm, ordinary Americans. And it's aimed, as John mentioned, at older white Americans who grew up in the 60s and 70s and aren't thrilled with the way the country has changed. President Trump knows that is a very important galvanizing force for his base. And, the shift from the economy to that, I think, is a signal that, the economy is not going to save the Republicans in this election.
And Stephanie, to tie it back to economics, it's the fact that many of those voters whose votes and turnout Republicans rely on are not the ones who benefited from the tax cut or the increase in the economy. The more affluent Republicans, the people who push for those tax cuts, who push for them to be tilted toward people at the top end of the scale and to business, they are benefiting, but they need votes of people who have gotten very small tax cuts. In fact, many of them have barely even noticed that they got tax cuts.
The quiet vote from the rich guy and the loud, fired-up vote for the disenfranchised person who hasn't gotten that much benefit. Well, we always have to remind our audience, it doesn't matter if you're standing up, screaming, or pumping your fist. Every vote counts.